President Joyce. It's so cool to share the stage with you guys and to recognize your leadership. This may sound like a bit of a strange question to this crowd, but how many of you are hip-hop fans? Any of you out there? Maybe some Kendrick Lamar fans in the house? I know many of your social media users because I see you on there. Well, those two things are coming together in that I think we know our social media feeds may know us a little bit better than we know ourselves. I was thinking about what I might share with you tonight, and up in my social media feed came a ad for a Kendrick Lamar t-shirt, and those of you the fans can guess what it said. It said, "Be humble, sit down." I intend to do exactly that, but first I absolutely need to recognize some people that made it possible for me to stand here tonight, and wow. As a high school student, I was invited to be an intern at the firm Hellman Harley Charvet Peacock. Chairman Emeritus of that firm and founding partner Alan Hellman, FAIA, not only hired me in high school, but later hired me for my first job after grad school. Even in high school, both Alan and his partner Bill Charvet taught me some very critical lessons. One of those early lessons was that architecture is a calling. Now, those of you that have been around the seminars this weekend, don't forget it's a business too, don't forget that. But it is a calling because what we have as architects is a sacred trust to represent people and to represent people that are not necessarily seated at the table with us. Only about 2% people in the United States actually get to interact directly with an architect. So we're representing a lot of people that aren't at the table. The concept of accepting a sacred trust is one I can identify with because my career had its genesis in a church. On this occasion, I have to invoke the memory of my parents, Dan Sr. and Eliza. Both of them were lay leaders in the church. My father was a deacon. He was chair of the board of trustees. He was superintendent of the Sunday school, which made for very long Sundays, which I'm kind of reminded of sitting in the ceremony today. That first church building in Newark, New Jersey, the services were held on the second floor of what had been a factory building. One night my father comes home with a set of blueprints under his arms. He rolls them out, and on the cover was this amazing rendering that turned that old factory building into a modern edifice. And I asked him, "Dad, who does this? Who can create this?" He said, "Oh, that came from the architect." And I was hooked. And that's what I wanted to do ever since. I started drawing immediately buildings in purple markers on white papers, trying to create my own fanciful designs. Fortunately, my parents very much encouraged me. And while they may have questioned many of my choices growing up, they never questioned my aspiration to become an architect. It was only later that I realized kind of what a long shot that was for an African-American boy from a poor neighborhood in Newark, New Jersey to actually achieve that. Parents also taught me this, that nothing you have is because of luck and chance. It is all due to God's grace and favor. And that is something that I try to honor every day. We're going to bring it home. But fast forward to being a college sophomore at the University of Florida, my attempts to successfully navigate pen-up and calculus class left me coming up a little short. I got some very critical advice from Professor Martin Gunderson, and some of you may know Martin. Martin told me, "You have both the talent and the commitment to become an architect. So instead of giving up, once you stick around for a year and make another swing at this and try again." I'll never forget that because that was well-heeded advice. It turned out to be some of the best advice I ever had because not only did I expand my architecture education, but I got to get involved in campus leadership, and that's a bug that's stuck with me ever since as well. I have to also acknowledge and thank Dr. Tony Katniss, who was our dean at the time at UF, for his own personal involvement and encouragement. Another person that's here with me tonight is my roommate, my fraternity brother, and my dear friend Brendan Ellis, who is an outstanding architect, Tampa architect in his own right. His curiosity put me on the path to a graduate education at the University of Michigan. And Brendan, I want to say I remain forever grateful for your friendship, for your understanding, and for being an amazing positive force in my life for many years. So thank you, brother. I must thank the members of AIA Orlando, represented here by President Andy McPhee and many other members of the board, for nominating me for this honor. To our current exec, Gary Scarborough, to previous EDs, Karen Jones and Allison Goldenberg, no matter where I've gone in AIA, our home chapter has always been a great source of pride and inspiration for me. AIA Orlando set me on a path in AIA leadership on my journey by trusting me to represent them at the state level. And I did not start the fight at the state level to protect this profession, but I was very happy to join it. Through the encouragement of people seated here, like Don Yoshino, like the late Jim Anstis, I ran for AIA office in Florida and was pleased to follow in the footsteps of others like Mickey Jacob, Ted Pappas, who walked me back to the seat when I received my fellowship, Steve Jernigan, and many others who stepped up in leadership, working alongside the likes of Jaime Sobrino, of Greg Burke, of Miguel Del Rio, of Stacy Bourne, and of course our beloved Michael Lingerfeld, has been a true honor. To our AIA Florida professional team, Vicki, Becky, Wendy, Mike Huey, many others, thank you all for listening to me, for collaborating with me, for tolerating me, and for never letting me down. To my A17 Conference on Architecture team, Jackie Hale, Nathan Butler, Renook Nichols, Holly Stinger, Rebecca Talbert, and many others, and I'm so sorry if I don't name you. It's not because I don't love you, because I do, but we did a very cool thing. We had a lot of fun. To my daughter Eliana, who's over here holding the camera, number one, you've already demonstrated that you're talented, that you are determined, and that you're a smart little warrior. Like your dad, you happen to be a student of people, and you're a bit of a cut-up. But I just want you to know tonight I'm very proud of you, proud to be your dad, and I enjoy every precious moment of watching you grow into a confident and remarkable young woman. To the lovely and brilliant Allison Kirby, Atlanta's mom, who has supported me through travel, through late night meetings, through working vacations, and while reaching great heights in your own career. I thank you for taking a chance on a charming but very particular man from Florida. You accepted my flaws and you've returned love, and that truly is a cause for celebration. Thank you. Over the decades of professional community life, there are many more people I can recognize, but I know our time is limited tonight. I've heard that the bar is open out there, so it's just about time for me to sit down. I'll say this: it took 106 years of AIA Florida history for somebody that looks like me to stand up here. And as AIA Florida president, I wrote a column in the President's Perspective for our magazine. It was called The Three Whitneys. It talked about, one, a talented architect who had been compromised and challenged; two, an emerging professional, a young female architect, aspiring architect; and also Whitney Young Jr., who's the National Urban League president that challenged and confronted AIA in 1968. In there remains a lesson for all of us. I'm gonna leave you, please look that up, think about it, there's a lesson in that for us. I'm gonna leave you with a final thought tonight. As architects, our ultimate client is the future. Our calling is optimism. And together, we offer the promise of a better future for those who will come after us. We need to work, we must work to expand who's at the table. In our firms, on our project team, in AIA. A diverse team is always a better team. Seek them out, keep them, reward them well. No matter what your calling is for everyone here tonight, I hope that God will bless you to remember that together we're creating a future. Architects, we're creating buildings. We're all building people through our actions. And together, we're all defining the future as we want it to be. Thank you very much.